Kurt wants this one. I think I'm making it somehow, some way. I used to try to give comeback to those old man jokes, and they always sounded really lame, and I just kind of gave up. Because I'm confident in myself and don't need to insult others to feel good about who I am.
We are all trash.
That might be accurate. Okay. So these are my notes, so I need them as much as you do. We should cheer for making it. Yay! Okay, I was the only one.
Oh, you got a regular clone. You got a regular clone.
Y'all are welcome to be comfortable. I don't intend for these classes to be particularly formal. You can be relaxed. I want to be relaxed. I didn't come in shorts and t-shirt, but hey. You did ask. So I kind of didn't respond because I was a little curious to see what would happen if I didn't give instruction.
I came up in and I spent the hardest time about her little summit because I was like, oh yeah, sporty spice, like all the way, shorts and t-shirt, let's do it. And she was like, she got so mad.
All right. Guys, let's go ahead and get started. I like to be punctual, and it is that time. I'm comfortable talking in front of groups. I was trained as a pastor, as a minister, but normally I would say, open up the Bible and I would just like give you the message that I see in the Bible. It wouldn't really be me. It would be just me communicating what the Bible says. And I'm sure that y'all are probably used to really high-class professors and really talented teachers, and I don't claim that title, but come on in, have a seat, got some snacks, grab a handout if you want it. Right there.
That's so hard. What the world?
Oh, okay.
Where did you find those?
I didn't really.
I was just saying that.
So I guess what I'm saying is that give me some grace, give me some room. I'm not professional at this. I don't even claim to have all the principles of leadership locked down. Kind of like if I was telling you a message from the Bible and just being the messenger. These are things that I have gleaned, the things that we'll be learning about over the next 4 weeks are the things that I have gleaned and learned over time. And in the past couple of years, I started researching this topic a little more carefully and trying to find out, what are the real important principles, the most pivotal character qualities that a leader at Chick-fil-A should have. I didn't really think about this in the broader sense of all leadership. These are the pivotal core principles of all leadership. No, these just apply particularly to successful leadership at Chick-fil-A. These 4 things that we're going to talk about today. But I just wanted to kind of start out by saying, I don't have this down. I don't always practice these character qualities very well. I just know that they are important and they're true. Just because I don't do it right doesn't mean they're not true. So I hope that you'll keep that in mind. And as we kind of go through this together, you remember the iceberg analogy, right? Where 90% of leadership is under the water. Just like an iceberg, the majority of its mass is underwater. And most of leadership success comes down to the character you have as a leader, not as much the skills that you practice. Come on in. We got drinks, and we got clock in times, and we got chairs and attractive people to sit next to. So what more can you really ask for? Most of successful leadership is character. It is not the skills that you learn, it's the character that you have. Now, for some people, they go, well, forget it, I give up. I can't get good character. Or whatever I have, that's all I get. You know, they assume that they're allotted a certain amount of character and they can never gain any more or lose any. And that's just simply untrue. And I believe, because I believe a person can learn character and grow in character, that's why I think classes like this are important. Times like this, opportunities to learn good character. But how do I develop good character? How can I gain more of it? And honestly, some people, they just don't understand that they can gain more character. How can I grow? Well, a couple principles that I've thought of is repetition breeds mastery. Well, I didn't think of that. Somebody else told me. Repetition breeds mastery. What you're doing today, you will be a master of in 10 years. If you continue doing what you're doing today, you'll be really, really good at it 10 years from now, 15 from now, 20 from now. So what you repetitively do, you need to consider what that is, because what you repetitively do now, you will grow deeper and deeper into that as you grow older, the longer you do that. So what that means is, if you want to develop a character quality like courage, you should start trying to work on courage, repeating to work on courage. And the more you work on courage, eventually you become a very courageous person. Repetition breeds mastery. If you do it over and over and over and over again, eventually you become a master at it. Just look at me, I'm a master at headset. You know, that's just how it happens, right? It repeats over and over. I get really good at it. What was this? was that like, you know, secretly making fun of me somehow? Oh, snaps. Oh, it's a young person thing. Oh, that's why I didn't know it. Thank you, County, for helping me to take a breath there. All right, so the next thing I think that you should do to develop good character is to define it. You can't just throw out words without understanding what they mean. We need to define define what it is we're working on, and then apply it. Define it and apply it. You have to figure out how those things specifically apply in your life. So that's what we will be attempting to do during this character class, is defining what each of these things are, and then talking about how they practically apply in the restaurant. And I would honestly like to get some of your feedback about how these different qualities apply. Let's talk about these things. So the 4 pillars, if you will, the foundational principles of leadership character that I perceive, that I have learned, are 1, humility. You have to be humble. The second one is responsibility. And these are not in any particular order of importance. They're equally as important. Humility, responsibility, integrity, and a positive perspective. I think those 4 things are vital to being a successful leader at Chick-fil-A. I think they're vital in many other contexts, and I hope that they'll be helpful to you throughout your life. But in this context, in this restaurant for this time, those 4 things are really, really important. And there's something that we want to begin to work on a regular basis. Yes. Yes. No problem. Humility, responsibility, integrity. And the last one is a positive perspective. %1 incremental changes equal long-lasting growth. So this doesn't have to be an overnight change. Developing good character is not going to, you're not going to wake up tomorrow and suddenly have responsibility. Oh, if only that were possible. You know, it has to happen a little bit at a time. Some people get discouraged when they don't see change in their life or in the things they want to change quickly. But if you think about it, if you only changed 1% of your behavior every day, or your, whatever your goal is, if you only achieved 1% incremental change every day, well, in 100 days, you're completely different. That's just 100 days. It's not even half a year. It's completely different. Just 1% a day. So consistency is more important in developing character than earth-shattering monumental experiences. Consistency, pursuing it day by day, persistently. Growth mindset. How many of you guys have heard of the book Growth Mindset by Carol Dweck? Cool. So Growth Mindset is a book that is kind of wildly popular in corporate America right now. Among the business world, tons of people are talking about this growth mindset book. You go to the library and try to get it. It's like an 8-week hold on it. I mean, it's like forever before you get a copy, unless you go out and buy it. It's very popular because she approaches the idea of change or growth as not being inherent, but simply your desire to learn, your mindset. If you believe that you can change, then you can. But if you believe that what you are as a person is set and unchangeable, you probably never change. So growth, having a growth mindset is important for being a leader. It's important as we continue to go forward in this class and talk about these 4 pillars of character. If you don't believe that you can gain more character, then you won't. It's important that you guys believe that you can change, that you can grow as a leader. I want to read something to you from that book. She says, good leaders have a desire to learn. Studies found that there's no such thing as a natural leader. People become leaders by changing themselves. Instead of trying to identify future leaders by their natural talent, companies should distinguish leadership candidates based on their individual development potential, and then give them openings to learn new skills. In fact, when companies give employees new opportunities to learn, they enable individuals to advance, to earn more, and to become better prepared for life's challenges. It is my desire that your participation in this class will spark something in you to make you an outstanding leader, but also to spark personal growth in your life, and that it becomes something that you pursue the rest of your life. I don't want your participation in this business to just simply be a one stop and then I leave kind of thing, or just a speed bump in your life. I want it to be pivotal. We want your experience here as a leader to be impactful on you and on others. And I hope that your participation in this class will help you, inspire you to pursue that personal growth and to realize that it is possible to grow as a person, to gain knowledge, to gain wisdom, and to allow that growth to impact your ability as a leader, your ability to impact the world around you. You guys have been selected as leaders in this business because you have good character. Not necessarily because we saw amazing skills. It's because we see in you the character of a leader, and we want to duplicate that. We want you to duplicate yourselves in the restaurant every day and have that positive impact upon your coworkers. Question time. What's the last book you read? That book that Anna gave us. I thought that several people say that. Do you remember the name of that book? I love your honesty, man.
You know, she said give it. Didn't she say give it back? I don't know where it is.
That's okay. That's all right. It's called The Heart of Leadership.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Ken. Who else? What's the last book you read? You could have listened to it on audiobook. I won't make you actually read it with your eyes. Was that the last book you read? Everybody? Is that pretty? No?
I won't technically, I didn't read that one.
What is it? Fantasy, yes, it does. Absolutely.
Did you flip it?
Was it Harry Potter?
No.
Oh, that's long gone, right? Okay,
Very good on
say it
that.
again. It was a fantasy novel, right? Yeah. Yeah, Olivia? The Communist Manifesto. All right.
That's what I'm saying. You can't just say that like that.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be because you agreed with the book. It's just what is the book that you read? I imagine that is probably fascinating. A guy wrote a book. His name is Francis Schaeffer. He wrote a book called A Christian Manifesto. And that is also pretty fascinating. It's kind of juxtaposed against the Communist Manifesto. He's anyway, he references it throughout his book. But interesting book. So the reason I bring this up is because what you are reading today, someone once said that everyone's basically going to stay the same except for the books you read and the people you know. And that's very, very true, because the people you know and the books that you read change you. They change your thinking, they change your approach, your perspective. So it is important that you be growing as a person, and the best way to do that is to read a lot, to be well read. Now, a lot of people say, oh, I can't stand reading. It's so hard. Okay, listen to audiobooks, listen to podcasts. Start with just little chunks. Listen to a podcast that lasts 15 minutes in an episode about anything you care about. But if you want to grow as a person, you have to put in effort to grow. The investment you make in your growth, you will reap. If you don't put any investment in your growth, you won't reap any growth. Thank you.
All right, that was a
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. I like it. See, now I take it as praise. I appreciate the knowledge you guys just gave me today. This is good. All right. Do you hear my heart here, guys? This is what I'm talking about, is growing. And you need to invest in your growth. And the books that you are reading, and I know that as college students, many of you are probably sick to death of reading books because you have to do it all the time for classes. But you can do things that will help you to grow that are a little different. I like to listen to podcasts too, and it helps me to think about things, to mull on it. You got to do more than just exist. You got to thrive. To thrive, you need to allow yourself to grow and invest in your own personal growth. And that's what I want us to do here. Leadership development is self-development. Good leaders are always growing. They're always developing themselves. They're learning something new. They're working on something new. Leadership development is self-development. It's an ongoing process that you continually walk in, right? I want to give you guys something else. This was from a notebook that I got. This, I mean, it's entitled The Leadership Ladder, but it is a good example, or it gives you a good visual aid about the progression of leadership. You go from one spot of leadership and how that leadership progresses to the best form and the best type of leadership that there is. You're going to move from doing to being. So a lot of people focus on, I want to do this, do this, do this. And they don't think enough about being what they are. We define ourselves too much based upon what we do. And that is suddenly how our identity, that's our entire self, is bound up in what we do. But our self is deeper than that. It's who we are that defines what we do. Does that make sense? Doing should always flow from being. From our being should flow our doing. The things that we accomplish should flow from who we are. So developing who I am as a person is a pivotal and important piece of growth. Look down here at the bottom under doing, leadership by position. That's your resume. That's 100% authority. This is the command structure. This is the guy that comes in and rules with an iron fist. It would be probably a lot of military command positions end up starting this way. 100% authority. People follow because they have to. You mandate the peons. That's the type of leadership that is like this, the beginning step. Lots of leaders start that way.
What's a peon?
What's a peon? It is the underling. It is the lower. It's the yeah, exactly. Exactly. This is not the type of leadership you want to be stuck in.
I can tell by the way they're referring to the people they lead.
Exactly. All right, you little peon, get over there. They don't have a choice. They follow because they have to. What about the next one? Leadership by permission. Leadership by permission is relationship. People follow because they like me. They massage their buddies. Hey, you're my buddy. I'm going to massage you to make sure you feel good. Hey, you like me? Okay, now would you please do this? Okay, thanks. Oh, you don't want to? Okay, I'll do it myself. This is leadership by permission. This is focusing on, do you like me or not? It's not the healthiest way to lead. It's leadership by permission. Okay, I'll permit you to lead me. I'll follow you because I like you. Now that's probably better than 100% authority, leadership by position, but it's still not really the healthiest way to lead people. The next one says leadership by production. It's results based. People follow you because they need to. You motivate the troops. You're not mandating, you're not massaging, you're motivating. And these people, they need to follow you because you get things done. Oh, I want to get things done, so I'm going to follow you because I need to follow you because you know what you're doing. And that's we're moving in the right direction, right? That's a little better. Still not totally the healthiest form of leadership, but it's still good. Leadership by production, leadership by people. I think this is often where a lot of really good leaders stop. Leadership by people, reproduction. People follow because they want to, and there's mentoring that's happening. They want to follow you because you're investing in them. You're reproducing yourself. You're pouring into them. You're helping them to grow. Leadership by people. You're inspiring them to see what the results that can be accomplished. You do have authority, yes, and you've gotten permission. You're showing them production, and now you're reproducing. That's a very good direction to be at, but that's not the final step. That's not you don't have to stop there. Honestly, I look at that and I go, man, that sounds great. I think I'd be happy with number 4. But the last one on the top of the list is leadership by personhood. Leadership by personhood. And Jonathan, I'm glad you said something about respect, because that's this level. You're leading with respect. It's not resume driven or relationship driven. It's not results or reproduction. It's respect. It's driven by respect. The respect that you as a leader have for those that are following you, and the respect that those following you have for you. People follow because they feel compelled to. They feel compelled to follow you. They're inspired by your leadership. I don't know how many of you aspire to be that kind of a leader, but that inspires me to say, wow, what a great picture that would be, that you're such an inspiring person and such an incredible leader that people just feel compelled to follow you. Man, I just really want to go where this guy's going because he's going the right direction. That's leadership by personhood. And that's 100% power. You're not leading because you have authority. You're leading because you have influence over those that are following you, because you're being persuasive. You're persuading them to follow you. That's a much healthier way. I mean, each progression, I think, is more healthy than the one before. But I want you guys to begin moving up that ladder. I want you to begin wherever you are on the stage. I want you to begin progressing up the ladder toward the next level of leadership, to begin pursuing a level of leadership that you really didn't realize you could accomplish. And I believe that the 4 pillars of character that we'll be discussing over the next 4 weeks are pivotal to that success. We want you to be the best leaders you can be. While you're at Chick-fil-A, we want you to be amazing. And when you move on to the rest of your career, whether that's continuing with Chick-fil-A or maybe it's some other industry, we want you to be an even greater leader. We want you to be a great leader because of what we've been able to invest in. So honestly, y'all will get as much out of this as you put into it. If you don't put very much into it, you won't get very much out of it. But if you invest yourself and really seek to learn these things, I think we can learn together. To be honest with you, I'm probably learning as much as you guys are. And I'm just sharing some of the things that I've learned over the last few years. I asked one of the most highly respected operators in Chick-fil-A and his leadership team, what are the pivotal pieces of character that a leader should know? If we want to say that character is the most important part, and they've been saying that at Chick-fil-A since I started 12 years ago. They've been saying character is the most important part of leadership. Well, what character? How do I gain more character? What does that look like? That's what we're going to talk about. That's what we're going to walk in. Anyway, I was telling you, I asked this operator, his operator team, his leadership team, and these 4 things are what we came up with: humility, respect, integrity, and positive perspective. Humility, responsibility, integrity, and positive perspective. We're going to dive into each one of those 4 things over the next 4 weeks. And I'm personally looking forward to it a lot. And I hope that you are. I hope that you will feel free to ask questions, that there'll be plenty of interaction, because you guys certainly have different perspectives than I do. And yeah, I've been working at Chick-fil-A longer than most of you. Maybe not Paul. Maybe not Paul. But that doesn't mean that I've worked in the same place or with the same people. I don't have the same perspective you have. So I would enjoy getting your perspective on these different character traits and how they are expressed, practically applied in the day-to-day workplace that we have. So let me talk for just a second about goals. If you don't know where you're going, you'll never get there. You have to know where you're going. And the way that you determine that is by setting goals. How many of you have goals for 2021? Okay, a few hands. I'm glad to see that. How many of you have written down your goals? Okay. That's all right. Don't feel bad. I haven't written mine down either. No, I wrote down a couple. Doesn't have to be written like with a pen, but it can be put in a digital form. Okay, all of you young kids out there, you can use your newfangled laptop. You can use it. As long as you put it down, as long as you record it, and you're setting those goals, that is very important for your success in life. And I want to encourage you to set some goals for this year. I want to encourage you to just think about the things that you would like to accomplish or the things you'd like to do. It could be, I'd love to go on vacation to Cancun or Bahamas, or Colorado mountains. I'd love to go skiing this year. I'd love to, I'd love to learn to scuba dive. I'd love to this or that. I'd love to, sign a new recording contract for my best hit single. I know I just sing in the shower every night, but I know it could really hit. It could be a hit. whatever. What would you want to accomplish? Write it down. It doesn't take a whole lot of time to stop and think through your life. What would I want to accomplish? And write down that goal. Write it down somewhere where you'll see it on a regular basis. Because if you write it down in January and never look again until December 31st, I wonder what happened this year. Oh, well, I just about guarantee you not a single one of them will be accomplished. You need to look at it. You need to look at those goals. You need to think about them. If you get to the place of planning out how you will accomplish them, let me tell you, you are firing on all cylinders, baby. If you're planning out your year on how to accomplish your goals, you're light years ahead of the competition. You'll be competing with people all your entire life for different things, for job positions, all sorts of things. You'll be competing with others. You're way ahead of your competition in almost every category if you write down your goals. Now, there's a lot of people that are doing that, but there's a lot more that aren't. Make some goals for this year. Write them down, and let's try to accomplish them. See if you can get there. If you don't, hey, okay, roll them over to 2022. But at least you're pursuing something. At least you're doing more than just standing still. Set yourself a goal and start moving that way. Maybe you take a couple steps and maybe you have to take a couple backwards. It's okay. You're going to keep on going. The Bible says a verse that says, a righteous man falls 7 times, but rises again. What's that saying is that it's not about how many times you fall down. It's about whether or not you get up. 7 in the Bible is a number of perfection or completion. It's saying you could fall just absolutely perfectly, epic fail. But if you stay on the ground, that's the true failure. Standing back up and continuing to move forward is very important in life. So I'm just going to share some life principles with you guys. We're going to talk about how to grow in character, what it looks like, what is humility, what is integrity. Let's define it. Let's make sure we define it correctly. Then we're all kind of on the same page. And then we can talk about how's that going to look in my day-to-day life, especially here at Chick-fil-A. But hopefully you can apply it in the rest of your life too. Responsibility applies in college classes as well as it does in the workplace. It's a good idea to get a journal and write things down. Okay, work. Well, first of all, let me just open it up for questions. Does anyone have a question or a comment or thought? I'm really good at this. Thanks. Appreciate it. Do you want me to stand over here a little easier so you can get a better kiss my butt easier? Well, I appreciate that, Connie. I appreciate your willingness to speak up. Thank you. And I know you're being sincere. Anyone else? No? Okay, so let's talk about work. You guys get plenty of homework, right? That's the stuff you take home. This is going to be work. And hopefully, I'm trying to make it things that you can do here at work, okay? Things that you can focus on while you're on the clock. When you're off the clock, you don't have to worry about it, okay? Trying. So, work for this week. Sign in to Lead Well on CFA Home. How many of you know how to sign into CFA Home? Okay, good. A lot of us working up front know how to do that. You guys in the kitchen probably don't have to very often. So we can show you. Okay, we can fix that too. You sign into the Chick-fil-A corporate website. It's not the site that the public sees. It's only for employees. You sign in there, and there's a section called Lead Well under Reports and Tools. If you're looking at it like this, Reports and Tools. So I have to think about it. I can't help it. So there's something called Lead Well, and that is, I found to be a really great resource for articles, for just all kinds of different material about servant leadership, about leadership in general within a Chick-fil-A world. Some things are from other operators that have been successful in a particular area. Some are from Harvard Business Review or different successful business websites that have articles that pertain to particular things that come up a lot in Chick-fil-A leadership. So I would like for you to at least log on to Chick-fil-A Home and look at the Lead Well site. Some point. I mean, honestly, I don't care if you're on the clock and you come out here and do it somewhere. I want you to be paid for what you do for us. And if you are able to grow and learn from this Lead Well site, doesn't mean every time you get on the site, but at least for this one assignment, you can be on the clock and look up Lead Well on CFA Home. There's another thing, another tool on there called Get Abstract. I think Chick-fil-A leaders have access to Get Abstract through the corporate, through the company. And I'd encourage you to look that up too, because that kind of gives you a summary of some different books. And you can basically read a quick rundown of, really popular books or really helpful books on leadership or on all kinds of other subjects, honestly. Try to see if you could find those two things. And that other assignment there is write down at least 3 goals for the year. So I would love for each of you to write down 3 goals for 2021. That's not a lot. And I'm not saying it has to be related to Chick-fil-A. It could be, I want to chew bubble gum 3 times a day. I don't care what it is. I just want you to sit down and write down 3 goals. And if you're comfortable enough sharing those with class next Sunday, I would be grateful for that too. And I will try to bring my goals and read them to you. And I might have 3. That's not too hard. Write down 3 goals and log on to Lead Well. If you can do those 2 things for me this week, you'll get some more work next Sunday. But I appreciate you guys being here and being willing to invest in your growth as a leader at Chick-fil-A. I hope that you understand that this class time represents a significant investment for Kurt. And he really sincerely believes in what we're trying to do here and believes in you guys and wants to pour into you guys. And so I hope that you recognize that and see it as well and express gratefulness to you. Any other questions? Okay, so a couple nuts and bolts things before we get going. We will meet at 3:30 each Sunday afternoon. And sometimes this is probably one of the shorter classes that we will have. I expect them to go until 4:30. I don't even know what time it is. 14. So I expect our classes to go till 4:30, maybe a little bit longer if we have some discussion time or, if we're really having a great time or whatever. But I'm shooting for 3:30 to 4:30. Next Sunday, we're having a guest speaker. He teaches leadership at Georgia College. And I hope that you will come and give him some of your attention. We will be combining that with our class instruction as well. He's going to speak for just a little bit beforehand about leadership character. And he's been doing it a long time. So I hope that you'll come and be here for that and show him support. And then every Sunday in March, we will meet. And I've had lots of people ask me about a Zoom link. Can I watch it on Zoom? And I would prefer that we not do that. I do have one, and I can share that with you in extenuating circumstances where you just cannot make it, but you really want to be here. But I prefer not to give you an avenue whereby you can stay at home and still watch, and I'd rather have you here. So that is a possibility. And if you have a circumstance where you just cannot be here, you can come and talk to me about it. But just rest assured that I would rather that not be the norm. I want it to be rare. The exception rather than the rule, they say. All right. Appreciate your time, guys. No other questions or anything? Okay. You guys are good. Please make sure you clock out before you leave.